Hello, everyone, and
No, I
welcome
feel
back.
left out. I didn't get to do it. I didn't get to do it. It was all he was hugging it.
Shit.
Okay. I'm like in a minute now. Whoa, mate, I'm just too funny. I've just. How did I come up with that?
That was good
cuff.
though. I liked
Off
it.
the cuff. You know what I mean? Woo!
All right, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give us counting.
I don't trust him, Cal.
3, 2, 1. I believed him.
It's staying in. No, it's staying in. We're in.
Okay. Hello. Oh.
It's not staying in now.
All right, I'm done.
Three, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the fourth sector. We are joining you after one of the probably the best race of the season. That was in Silverstone. Myself, Joe, and Luke has come out of his shell to return and join us after a few podcasts away. And we're going to be talking all things Silverstone. We haven't even really put any agenda on today's thing. We're just going to have a chat. So Joe and I were there, so I know how Joe felt about it. But Luke, how was it from your end? Did you fuck with it as hard as everyone else did?
Do you know what? I thought after the beginning, obviously what happened with Joe and that situation, I kind of thought that would be it. I thought it would be a really boring race after that. And then we kind of had the last 10 laps and you know, all four teams kind of battling for podium, which was kind of crazy and what we've all kind of been wishing for like years. I loved it. I thought it was great. And I think if that was your first kind of Formula One race to watch ever,
oh man,
what a great way to start. You know, you've got as much as the circumstances were horrible, you got the big crash and the drama there. You got the.
I was going to say there's a plethora of emotions around that because I was genuinely terrified for.
I really thought
20 minutes at least, I think.
I said it in our group chat. I was like, I really thought this was going to be the first time we lost a driver since the Halo was introduced.
Yeah.
Because it looked horrific.
And it was a freak incident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Also, shout out to the Halo as well, because Nissani would have been dead otherwise.
Oh, yeah, in the F2 race. Did you see that, Luke? Yeah, the sausage curbs.
That was, I mean, those sausage curbs are obviously, I mean, you know, the Lewis incident as well last year was sausage curb, wasn't it? So, wow.
It was quite similar in some ways. But yeah, I mean, no one doubted the Halo a year ago, and no one definitely doubts it now. I think it's more than proved itself over the last couple of years, and it's kind of crazy how many drivers we probably would have lost without it. Even Charles Leclerc, was it 2018 or 2019? He had that incident.
There was one at Monza, wasn't there? That was quite bad.
It was when he was at Sauber, wasn't it?
Yeah. So even as far back as then, you know, it's kind of been detrimental is the wrong word, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been massive for the sport. Let's go with that.
For sure. I think that anyone that's like, and there is quite a few people that would have been like that, because it's on Channel 4 as well. It's terrestrial TV. There'll be young kids out there. There'll even be adults that probably was like, it was on a Sunday afternoon, and they said, you know, let me just see what this is all about. And there's probably fans for life now. You know,
which is a good thing and a bad thing, because when you have races like that, and arguably, I guess the same with Abu Dhabi last year, there's so much drama in it, and
they could be set up to stop watching after next weekend. Yeah, this weekend coming.
Yeah, because you don't get that every weekend, especially not that battle. You know, where it's almost like, you know, like a movie sort of thing, where it's like 4 cars.
At one point, there were 5 cars challenging second place.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's what we've been asking for. Obviously, we had the massive Mercedes domination for like just shy of a decade, really, when you think about it. And the one thing we were asking for is, please, can we just have races where we have no idea what's going to happen? Teams compete. We could have, after the first couple of laps, Hamilton really could have gone on to win it.
It did look that way.
We could have seen a Ferrari win it. We could have seen a Red Bull win. Just having that and kind of not knowing 10 laps in who's going to win.
We had no idea if Latifi was going to get a point.
Dude,
I'm so glad Schumacher did that.
Oh, double Haas points. That was on no one's wild card, was it?
Did you see Vettel at the end, where it's like all he cared about was like, did Mick get his point?
Yeah, class.
So anyway, that's what I thought of it. I thought it was probably my race of the season so far.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. I'm excited for the race that beats it, if there is going to be one, which I don't think there will be. But that just shows we've always done it right. We've always got it right. We've always had the best race, the best circuit, the best fans, and that was does piss me off in one go.
Go on.
The one thing that has pissed me off is all of. I mean, I don't know what your TikTok's been, but everyone saying about, obviously you had the Max Lewis incident last year and comparing it to Leclerc and Hamilton this year, and how Hamilton turns slightly differently. And
he had understeer last year. It's been proven. If you look at,
he also had a heavier car at that point.
Yeah, no. But if you look at the steering wheel, it just doesn't. It just doesn't turn as much as as he's trying to turn it. He had understeer.
Yeah, but it's more that it pisses me off that people.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you.
On what happened a year ago.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
Verstappen still won the championship. Can you chill the fuck out?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the only thing I think that's a little bit of a downer. Obviously, the crash was a downer, but yeah, I really felt for Russell as well.
Yeah, it was a shame. And obviously, that was such a technicality. But I think in the grand scheme of things, at the time, I think it's a kick in the teeth for the fans, for him, in front of the home crowd in his first competitive car. But I think he'll look back on that and realise, like, morally, the running over to Zhou and the helping the stewards means way more than that Grand Prix, So also very well done to George Russell for reacting.
Hero moment. Like, no hesitation. As soon as he stopped his car, turned it off. He was.
But the thing was it he came out and said afterwards that he actually asked no one to touch the car.
Yeah, he did. He told that he couldn't get the car started, which was a simple technical fault that they could fix. And the only thing he had other than that was a puncture. So he said to the stewards, "Don't touch the car. I'm going to go and speak to the team." So I think he ran to the pit wall. Bearing in mind the pit wall was only 100 meters away or whatever, and down the pit lane to meet the Mercedes team. However, a car cannot rejoin the race if it's been aided in any way. Yeah, it was aided in any way. So the minute they put it back on that truck, even though again the car was fine, it was just a puncture and a quick switch on a steering wheel, because it had been assisted by the letter of the law. He wasn't allowed to race. So it is hard. I was just thinking as well. So reflecting on the whole weekend. I think we had, and there's so much to talk about in this race and stuff, but I just wanted to mention that I also think that's one of the best qualifying sessions I've ever seen. Ever.
Yeah.
The way that the track evolution meant that car after car was going faster and faster, and you really couldn't call who was going to get it. It looks like it did, to be honest, it looked like Max just had it a bit more nailed on than everyone else, and then there was the rest of the field fighting it out. And I think Mercedes had a better chance in the dry on a selfish level. But wow, what an exhilarating session all the way through to the end, and it was getting wetter and drier, and it was about being out there at the right time. And Carlos Sainz obviously got his first pole. So I just sort of wanted to mention, that in terms of entertainment value, that was probably one of the most excited I've ever been watching a qualifying session. We were up on our feet.
You were there for it.
We were indeed up on our feet. Cal was giving it lemon when Lewis got regional pole.
There was a young girl in front of us, and this isn't probably the proudest thing to admit on a podcast that goes out very publicly, but there was a young girl in front of us in a Ferrari hat, and obviously when Sainz crossed the line, I don't know where her parents were, but she's on her own. She's like, "Yay!" And I went, I won't scream it the way I screamed it, but I went, I just screamed "fuck" and hit the. I just screamed "fuck" and hit the bench, and I hope I didn't ruin her Silverstone too much, to be honest, but I might have done.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
sure she got over it when Carlos won.
True, actually, you're probably not wrong. But yeah, no, I didn't actually check if she looked, because obviously we were sat there enjoying it, having all the pints.
Where were you? Whereabouts on the track?
So Friday,
we were on the Hamilton straight, we're on the main straight, but then we didn't go back. Basically,
there was a nice big screen at the pub, like I don't know, probably 10 feet by 10 feet or something.
It was huge. Yeah.
Did you actually go to the circuit to sit in a pub and watch the race?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, mostly sat in the pub.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. That is the most awful thing I've ever heard in my life.
We wasn't allowed in.
Oh.
No. We were there. We were there as guests, obviously, of the campsite, right?
Yeah, but I thought you got into this. I thought you could watch the race. Like, I thought you got into that bit.
Well, we thought that, but then I tried to get in and they said no. Basically. So we saw Friday from the Hamilton straight, but on the wrong side of the fence.
With a decent view, to be fair.
Very good view. You could see every car that was coming through in the pits, every car that was coming past on the straight.
Yeah.
But
that was actually quite cool, seeing the track and the pits at the same time as well.
Yeah, and it was an angle that we could have probably gone back and sat at, but it was, take your deck chairs, take your drinks and whatever, and it just seemed a lot easier to stay at the campsite. So we just did that.
We could sit. We could hear all the commotion. Like,
you can hear everything.
Saw the live action, which was class as well.
Yeah, you can sort of hear it all.
Where did everything? Most of the action was around the Wellington Straight this year, right?
Yeah. I think as it is most years.
No, last year was just before then. When was it? Where was it last year? It was. Was it going into
mostly into Cops?
Well, that was
Last year was mostly into Cops, so I won't lie.
Well, to be fair, Hamilton and Verstappen was into Cops, and Hamilton did take the lead back off of Leclerc in Cops that year as well.
When Leclerc said, you can have this. Please don't kill me.
Something he did not do this year, by the way.
No. Oh, that was a pass as well. That was that was a scary pass, because he just sent it through.
Serious nads, mate. On that man, on both men, they did very well.
I still don't see, even watching that, as good as Leclerc was and that battle was, to me, just doesn't have the same mindset as Verstappen. Like, he doesn't have that absolute killer.
It's been 2 months since he's been on the podium and 3 months since he's won a race, and he's still apparently a title contender. And I am.
Yeah, but that's only because Verstappen's had so many DNFs.
I'm 1 foot on the train still, on the Leclerc hype train, because the Ferrari is obviously good enough to win a race, but the strategists do not want him to. They just don't want him to.
Mate, when you mentioned the numbers, and we've been talking about Leclerc as the contender, the main contender, and I mean, yeah, he's not though, is he? Really? I mean, yeah.
Not by any fault of his own either, which has really fucked me off.
Yeah, I think it's annoyed a lot of people. I saw a clip on my TikTok from the lads at WTF one, and they're going, "Why have they not pitted Leclerc? Why have they not pitted Leclerc?" And we're sat there going, "Why have they not pitted Leclerc?" It seemed so obvious, didn't it? At the time?
I was being really annoying about it as well. I was just like, "They've not pitted him. They've not pitted him. They've not pitted Leclerc. He's still out there. Everyone else in the pits, he's still out there."
Yeah.
I had my Ferrari top on and all.
Do you think there's any way we don't see Verstappen win the championship and Red Bull win the constructors now?
Absolutely not.
Because I can't
It's
see.
impossible. It's the best car on the grid, and the best car will win, and that's what's going to happen. And that's just how it is. You know, at the end of the day, they're 1 and 2 in the chat drivers, and yeah, they are going to win this constructors because they've got it right from the start. And it is great that, you know, we are maybe edging towards a 3-way battle, but there's no way. There's no way. I'd clip it and ship it if I'm wrong. Clip it and ship it if I'm wrong. There's no way.
You'd love to be wrong as well.
Yeah.
You'd love that clip.
I'm gagging to be wrong.
No, me too. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be Verstappen to win again, isn't it? To be honest, I'd love to think that Mercedes will be back next year.
I mean, moving in the right direction at the minute, definitely.
This was a big weekend.
Positive, you know, it seems like there's a new positive every week, doesn't it? Like every race week, we're like, wow, they seem more competitive than the last race week.
It's interesting. They look way better race day than they do qualifying.
Yeah. The 1 lap pace of the car is not there at all, is it?
No, and I think the tyre warm up has been an issue all year.
Well, it was obviously it potentially cost Hamilton second in the race, which is interesting. But
it probably did. It probably did cost him. It's like little things. Obviously, he fell by. He got P3 off the start. We had to restart. Went back to P5. Ended up behind Lando. Took him a few laps to get that sorted. By the time he got that sorted, he was a little bit further back, a bit too far back.
I was confused about being set back to P5. What was the reason for
that? They because there was no point where it was clear who was in what position at the time of the red flag. They went back to the last obvious point in which there was an order.
It's the second safety car line, basically. There's 2 lines they have to cross, and all cars have to cross the second safety car line for it to be classed as like an official classification. And as Joe rightly says, like because all the cars didn't cross it, the only official classification they had at the time that the red flag gets waved is the original starting grid.
I'm with you. That makes sense.
So that's why they had to restart it, which was a shame.
I was going to say, I bet Max didn't like that because I reckon it completely fucked his race, didn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah. I think that was a bit of a strange one as well. He lost just like a bit of performance, but I don't overly know.
There was a chunk of AlphaTauri under his car.
Is that what it was? He ran over the debris?
He ran over the debris from when Tsunoda decided he wanted to take Gasly out for no reason. No, he lost it. He lost the back end, but just as he was trying to pass Gasly, he lost the back end. And there's a picture of Max holding up this big chunk of AlphaTauri car that was lodged in the underside of his car, and they were sort of wondering where the issue was with the downforce, and they were saying that maybe if they, when next time he pits, they can sort of see what they can do about the front wing to even out the downforce, and they had no idea what was wrong. And because obviously they didn't have the car like up so they could get under it and stuff the whole race, they didn't know until after that there was a chunk of AlphaTauri under it. And he's posing with it in pictures. He's like,
fair play.
He seemed to take it relatively well.
I suppose when you come out of a situation like that, still leading the championship by 34 points
after finishing seventh,
you could get away with being optimistic about what's to come. But you go through the whole grid, and there's stories everywhere, and it's really
Latifi
fun.
Sending it into Q3
after never even ever making out of Q1. So he kind of just went, it's very much zero.
Never in his career, or never this season?
Never in his career.
He's never come out of Q1 in his career.
No, that was what they were saying on the TV.
He's had points. So he's got all of his points by taking at least 5 places.
Well, yeah, I guess so. DNFs, isn't it?
Like, Hungary last year, we lost about 5 cars off the start, didn't we?
Blimey. I didn't know he'd never been in Q1. I love that they just didn't bother sending him out in Q3 either.
Yeah, it was like plus 22 to the next car.
Yeah, they were just like, oh no, don't get running, mate.
Like you say, just save
P10's solid.
Save the crash for tomorrow, mate. Save the crash for tomorrow. And yeah.
Are you surprised Latifi still has a seat.
No,
I'm not. I think I said last week or the week before that I think Red Bull have almost set some like precedent of like replacing drivers mid-season, but I don't think it's like that common to be spoken about this much. Generally, you know, drivers will see out seasons. I'm surprised he's kept his seat to this point in terms of his performance, but obviously we know that the money talks and stuff is probably where
money does definitely talk.
He's keeping his head above water.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will he keep it next year? It's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell because what can he do worse? Do you know what I mean? Than what he's already done so
Joe's
far.
trying so hard now not to piss himself. Because I can tell in his mind he's going to do so much fucking worse.
What else can he do?
What is going to be the straw that finally breaks the camel's back?
Just takes out the other Williams. Just takes out Albon consistently.
What, 3 in a row? Is that how many he's got to do?
Yeah,
take Albon out 3 races in a row.
He takes over Kvyat's title as the torpedo.
I reckon if he does Albon,
is it Kvyat that's called the torpedo?
Yeah. Because do you remember he was in? Was it Seb that had a massive row with him in the cooldown room once, and he looked really, really heated.
Yeah,
about the old torpedo.
Kvyat was like so happy.
Yeah. He's like, I'm on the podium. I don't care.
He's just sitting there. And Seb started saying to him, like, just mate, you got to kill someone if you carry on like that.
It's just like, maybe, I don't know.
You know, it's weird. I never used to like Seb.
No, yeah, you didn't actually, did you?
No, I didn't either.
When he was at Ferrari, I couldn't stand him. I thought he was washed. I thought his attitude stunk. And like, kind of since then, what a guy. I think the whole thing with Mick has just kind of cemented that for me, but even in general, there's a few things he's done on and off the track that are funny, but also things that I think he's done for the right reasons and stuff like that.
100%. Making himself like the, you know, along with Lewis, like the role model of the track as well, like, and like just such a positive influence to have on the sport, but like of sport in general as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think him and Lewis have got good.
I think they've got really good rapport now.
Yeah,
I think mine stems from Seb. I as we said last week, Joe. Actually, it didn't get posted, so I witnessed the Seb Vettel domination. I think a lot of my distaste for him came from that, in the same way that a lot of Hamilton's distaste comes from his dominance over the last 6-7 years. I just really couldn't stand him, but he was winning all the time.
Yeah.
And it just...
That Red Bull was unreal. I think was it 2009 especially?
2009 was Braun's year.
The year
then it was 10, 11, 12, 13.
I remember the car. I can't remember the year where they had that almost like, it was like the purple like paint splatter on it. Not paint, the pinstripes.
Yeah, I know the one you mean. They're all fairly similar. I know. I was telling Joe that 2011 there was like 17 races, and they got pole at 16 of them. And the only pole that they didn't get was Canada, which was Hamilton got pole in Canada, which is, you know, water is wet until recently, of course, until this year. But yeah, so it's that was where my distaste for him. But after that, I didn't so much mind him in the Ferrari days, although, you know, it's one of the biggest cheers I've ever had in Formula One. Probably was when in Hockenheim when he went into the gravel and Lewis won from P14. That was like England scoring a goal for me when that happened. That was so good. But yeah, I'm just like looking at there's just stories sort of all up and down the finishing order, really, isn't it? Checo come P2 in the end. He wasn't even like a thought.
No. He was
race.
Well out of the picture by I don't know what lap it was after the restart.
He boxed so you remember Lewis and Leclerc were closing right up on the back of him.
Yeah.
and he ended up having to box for a new front wing because he had it was broken. And that's from that point, I think everyone fairly assumed, okay, well that's
Was it a crash with Lewis or I made that up?
I think it was a crash with Charles. It was a crash with Charles that caused the damage.
But then Charles finished the race without an end plate on his front wing as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he lost the right end plate.
But if he had a boxed, I'm relatively sure he still would have won the race if he had a box under that safety car. Because Sainz led the rest of it apart from when he boxed and Hamilton took over.
Well, because Sainz was carrying his own damage, which is why Lewis was, funny enough, Lewis was all over the back of him pre-safety car when all the pit stops had happened. Sainz's tyres were 13 laps older and he was carrying a little bit of damage himself. And Lewis was on the charge. And truth be told, I think because they got their pit stop wrong, didn't they, Merck?
Yeah.
It only lost like 2 seconds. But those 2 seconds, wow, what a difference they could have made. Because if Lewis had cleared Sainz pre-safety car, and then obviously when they box him, he's in front of Sainz. Sainz takes the flak from Perez. And maybe we'll be talking about a Lewis Hamilton victory. But it's all if buts and maybes. And I really did think for a long time, as you know, Joe, that Lewis was very much going to be the winning car this weekend. And he wasn't.
I think you were actively disappointed that he didn't win, even though he got the podium, weren't you?
Yeah, I was gutted. I was fuming. I was very angry for a little while. I had to cool down a little bit. I was very upset. But you backed Ocon for P5. You got the right car, but the wrong man. Fernando P5 went a bit under the radar, but he was getting involved in all the stuff.
In my defence, Ocon didn't finish the race.
No, he did not. No, he did not. So that's
this isn't the episode that never was, because Thursday was such a nightmare trying to finish work and get to Callum's in order to sleep for a few hours before we headed off at stupid o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, was that my wild card? Was Ocon P5?
Yeah, mine was George was going to out-qualify Sainz, and Sainz got pole position.
That was impossible.
I lost that one as well. Leclerc double, that didn't work.
He did finish the race though, so the curse is broken.
The curse is slightly broken. If I'd picked Max and that had happened, what did happen?
Yeah,
I think then I would have actually had to have stopped doing guesses, stopped picking.
So you mentioned Fernando, and Fernando very much came into the fold several points during that race. And I think, I'll be honest, this is a very, very close top 6, because the top 6 were separated by less than 12 seconds.
Yeah, well, obviously safety car helps that.
Yeah. But you don't often see that much of a race to the line, do you? And at one point, as I said, you had 4 cars battling for P2, which was class.
Probably after everything that happened, and as we've said, it's an action-packed race event after event. That battle, Perez is trying to make a move on Leclerc. They go wide. The commentary,
and through comes Hamilton.
The commentary that we're going to hear over and over again on TikTok and whatever, and through goes Lewis Hamilton and all of this stuff. That was amazing, hair-raising stuff. And Fernando was there the whole time.
And Norris was on his back as well.
You know that Hamilton one? Do you think it's going to be on the same line as?
Here comes Sebastian Vettel.
Vettel in Canada. Yeah.
It will carry the same sort of weight to it, and it is a shame because obviously straight after Checo, Lewis kind of took some half defensive line, but it wasn't. He didn't make his mind up on whether he was just going to take his line or take a defensive line.
He just went middle of the track,
and he kind of just went in the middle, left the door open,
and he got double fucked.
Checo pushed him out, so then Leclerc gets to swing it round, and that was
he plays it very safe at the minute, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think. He's been racing with Max for a while, and he's now, but it's shook him up a little bit, hasn't it?
He's playing very safe, because I think we see very, very much. We see more aggressive racing with Perez. We see it with Sainz. We see it with Leclerc, and we see it with Verstappen. We don't see it with Hamilton anymore. He's saving the car, which is probably the grown-up thing to do.
Yeah,
let's not crash it.
maybe
Let's
the
not
experience.
let's finish the race.
Yeah.
But he backed out of a few of those that the other boys didn't back out of. So an interesting one there.
Do you think there's a little bit of a lack of confidence, not so much in Hamilton overall, but lack of confidence in the car, that he's not willing to push it? Because part of me thinks that's something to do with it as well. I think if you look at previous years, he's had that confidence in the car, where this year, obviously, he's had the upsets, the porpoising's obviously been a thing, struggle getting heat to the tyres. I just wonder if having the confidence in the car has stopped him from going for some of those moves.
I think getting on the podium at Silverstone is better than not finishing the race at Silverstone. And I think in my head, that's what's happened. I think in my head, obviously he would have done anything to win. If that doing anything to win means not finishing the race when you've already a teammate down, that's what my heart says. I don't know.
Yeah, I get that.
What do you reckon, Cal?
Yeah, it's just I think it's experience as much as anything else. I think he's had years where there's been question marks over his driving styles and stuff, and it feels like a long time ago now. But 2008, for example, Robert Kubica said in a press conference, sat right next to Lewis Hamilton, saying that he's going to get someone hurt one day, just in the same way that people now talk about Max Verstappen, for example. So I think with experience comes he's a wily old fox, and I think he realizes that the championship is, as particularly now, it's 22 races long, and if he can finish in the points every race like he has bar Imola, that he's gonna, in a season where the Mercedes maybe isn't too competitive, he's gonna do a lot for them, going forward and getting all the data for next year and stuff. So there is obviously, there is probably an element of lack of confidence in the car. I mean, it's so stiff. He probably doesn't have the control on it that he probably would have had with old Mercedes in the past. So he probably isn't able to get his shoulders out and elbows out as much. But I still know that Lewis is in there. He's just is he the second oldest driver on the grid now?
Yeah.
So
because I forgot he was young. He was older than Vettel.
Yeah, Seb was. Yeah, when Seb came in and won his title, I think he was the youngest champion, wasn't he?
I forgot he was older than Vettel. So it's just Alonso that's older than him at the minute.
Yeah. So I think he's just playing it sensible. He knows that he's got a teammate battle with George going on as well. Nico Rosberg said, George Russell better watch out because Lewis hates losing to his teammates. And funnily enough, since Nico's come out and said that, Lewis has dropped back-to-back P3s and finished above George in both of those races. So I think he knows realistically, unless these Mercedes upgrades are going to be prominent as they were this weekend in all the races, which I don't know, obviously they suit the high speed and stuff. So I don't know if they are going to be that competitive everywhere. I think realistically, he knows his real battle this year is just with George. And I think he's just going to play it that way, to be honest, for most of the year. In terms of the championship battle, I don't feel like much really developed in terms of that story. I feel like Max, in a weekend where Max slipped up, Ferrari gave the priority. Well, I guess I wouldn't even say the priority to Carlos Sainz, but the fortune fell the way of Carlos Sainz. And that's kind of not done a lot for them, where they've not chosen one driver to sort of lead them. Really now.
Well, Carlos is the one that's making up his own strategy on the day.
Yeah, true. He did basically tell them no, didn't he?
And he's obviously you would if you know it's going to make you win a race, right? But obviously he did it. He did it in Monaco. I don't remember if there's been any other occasions since then that he's done his own strategy. But obviously, Charles listening to them is massively detrimental to the title race. As we said earlier on in this podcast, as it has been for the last few months,
And they've put themselves in this position and put Charles in this position.
And I'm not saying that every time he finishes a race, if they don't fuck up, he's going to win it because Max is going to beat him. But we can name one error he's made that's caused him to not win a race. And it's Imola. And that's the only error he's made that has caused him to not win a race.
And he wasn't winning that race anyway. He was chasing. He was second.
He would have won it, mate. Best driver in the world. It's the greatest of all time. He would have won it. It's fine. But yeah, he's not slipping up, is he? And they are.
Yeah. And it's just now there's only, again, it's like, all the talk has been on Charles Leclerc this year, and a lot of heat was put on Carlos Sainz this year. All of a sudden, there's 11 points separating them in the championship, which means if that's one win for Sainz and Leclerc's third, and Sainz is above him. Now, of course, there was a situation like that in Red Bull a month ago, and now there's 34 points between them. So it really can go one or two ways.
Yeah, of course.
And we saw that Sainz did beat Leclerc last season, possibly over, again, like a bit of a consistency thing over the big results. It's an interesting complex at the top of that championship. It does go, at the moment, it literally does go Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes. So I think it will finish that way as well, if I'm honest.
Top three are nailed on then.
Yeah, pretty much, man. So then that's where I thought, looking at the midfield, we got Lando came sixth this weekend, much improved McLaren performance, but it wasn't much improved for everyone at McLaren.
No, I'll be real. Upon looking at the results, I don't love that Daniel Ricciardo finished behind Latifi. I don't love that.
I really, because I heard.
We also didn't see any of his race either, did we?
No, but I don't think we needed to.
Apparently not. True.
I don't think we needed to. It looks like, because apparently his struggles on Saturday in qualifying was just straight up pace. Straight up, not fast enough, not quick enough. And then we come to Sunday and he gets beaten by Latifi and Lance Stroll, by the way, who started stone dead last. P20, Lance Stroll started.
Yeah, but after the restart, there's 4 cars out anyway, wasn't there?
I don't know.
Lance Stroll, mate, because it was Albon, Zhou, Russell. Did anyone else?
Well, yeah, it was Gasly, Bottas, Russell, Zhou, Albon. And then obviously Ocon pulled over. Did Bottas just retire earlier on in the race? Was he was involved in the crash, wasn't he, I think? But I don't really see I don't think that has any relevance to the fact that Lance Stroll started dead last, finished 11th, and Ricciardo finished 13th.
Oh, no. I'm just saying that Lance Stroll finishing 11th doesn't mean he had an amazing race, is what I was, Not saying that it wasn't better than Ricciardo's race, because obviously it was.
Yeah, that was where I was going with it. I was just saying Lance Stroll coming 11th from stone dead last, whilst Ricciardo just can't seem to get that car working. I think it's got to take a lot for him to really turn it around. He's got to be one of the most likable guys out there. We saw the space hopper race between Lando and Daniel. That is another clip that we're going to see going around for years to come, I'm sure. And
the reaction that came after it when Danny Rick tweeted he's okay. And Lando tweeted he's okay with the bait. I'm not going to say something weird here. The fake baby. How do I say fake baby?
The toy baby.
What do you call that? A dolly? Is it
a
dolly?
Doll? A baby doll?
Baby doll. This is weird now. With a smushed in face.
I'm not getting involved. This is you two can hold this.
We'll work this thing out.
Go on Lando's Twitter and go to the media and you'll find the tweet.
You'll know what we're talking about. Just whilst we're on the topic of like Ricciardo and just in general the midfield, because I will say that, whilst the top end is very clear, the mid changes race by race, and I kind of love that. I do kind of love that. With the Alpine that sometimes looks so quick and then sometimes doesn't.
It's less quick.
McLaren, again, sometimes looks really quick, sometimes doesn't. But it's just Daniel Ricciardo at the moment is sitting in a very lowly 14th in the standings on 15 points, level on points with Sebastian Vettel, who missed 2 races. That is anyone that's watching on YouTube, that is the aforementioned picture we were on about. This is brilliant.
What do you call that, Luke? Do you happen to know?
I don't.
I mean, not anything that's appropriate to go out on the internet.
Roger that. We'll just leave that there then.
Let's just say it's. Yeah, move on. Actually.
Yeah, good call. So yeah, I don't know, Ricardo. Bear in mind, Lando Norris has scored 58 points, whilst Ricardo has just scored 15.
That sounds high as well. I'll be honest, that sounds high.
He scored less points than Kevin Magnussen, who has got 16 points. And as we do know, obviously, there was one particular good result that has bolstered that. But Daniel Ricciardo hasn't had that one good result. So, that hasn't happened. And yeah, I don't know. And then you've got your 2 Alpines. Valtteri Bottas and Alfa Romeo as a whole, as a package, seems to be slipping away. Guan Yu show Guan Yu. Obviously, great that he's okay. He's actually driving terrifically at the moment, by the way. Outperforming Bottas for the last 3 races.
Backing him since day one. Yeah, considering he's in his rookie season, he got points in his first race. He then didn't go on a run of points until Canada. But he's been outperforming Bottas, who's, as I say, Bottas is 8th in the championship overall, and he's outperformed in the last 3 races in the same car on his rookie season. He's very much settling into that car, and he could very much be a very, very good driver in the future, and could be the leader for that Alfa Romeo team. It seems that because it was Alfa and Haas who obviously had that Ferrari engine at the start of the year, looked like they'd they'd benefited from it greatly, didn't they? Because it looked like them cars were more competitive than the Aston, the McLaren, and even the Mercedes in the Mercedes engines, and the AlphaTauri with the Red Bull engines. But now it has leveled out a bit. The Alfa Romeo is not really appearing like in the top 6 or 7 as much. No. I mean, there was reliability issues in the middle of this as well, and it feels like they've kind of just left that period, which they might have to go back into. I think they had 1 double DNF as well, which obviously is less than ideal. But I mean, when we've had races where there's sort of like 4 mechanical DNFs, they've all been Ferrari engines. So that is obviously slightly worrying for them. One thing I did see today that I kind of wanted to chat about engines, was it Porsche?
With Red Bull?
Yeah. Have I made that up?
2026.
So yeah, I know we talked about it being rumoured before, but considering Red Bull powertrains is a brand new thing, what happens with this new Porsche deal?
It could be a case of they're just going to basically slap their name on it on a sticker and say, "Here's
that's a Porsche.
That's a Porsche, boys." Yeah,
I should whack one on my Clio, see if it goes faster.
It might. It might. I was going to slander the Clio, but it's actually done a very good job this weekend.
I wouldn't slander the Clio right now.
I really do not have the facilities to slander that car that just anchored our weekend at Silverstone, to be honest. No, it is. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. To be honest, it's all speculation. It's so far away. It's really hard to give, too much of a definitive answer. We'll see how that pans out. I don't know if Red Bull, are they going to trade off some sponsorship for some money? A Porsche, will Porsche put money into it to have their name on it? Are they going to go into that, looking to develop into their own team? There's plenty of questions to be asked, and it probably is something that we could sort of look at more in depth on like an off week or something. But I'm not sure. But we know that Red Bull powertrains is in production, and it's very much, it's on the move. It's getting done. It's getting dealt with. So we will certainly see. But yeah, what an action-packed weekend. And it's so crazy because so much happened. But I'm again, as I have been for most of this podcast, I'm just looking at all of these standings and stuff, and I'm thinking it didn't really have much of an impact on anything, did it? Everything's more or less kind of the same. It was just great to watch. It wasn't really that massive. At the end of the season, maybe it will be. But right now, it's just kind of like, well,
when Sainz wins the championship.
Well, yeah. Can you imagine that? What a turnaround.
Also, by the way, 150 something entries, 1 pole, 1 win. 100% conversion rate, mate.
Mate, best driver to ever live, mate. It's like
why aren't we renaming the sport already?
When Sam Allardyce was the England manager, football manager, he like
never lost.
He played 3-1-3, right, or something.
Never lost. I think it was 1. I'm not gonna lie.
Either way, England's greatest ever manager? Question mark.
100%.
Underrated, mate. So I think one of the big battles we're going to be looking into this weekend. Spielberg.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Fucking
gassed.
Mate,
I think I've nailed down a guest as well. By the way, I think I've nailed down a guest for next week, for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
We're not having a fucking Red Bull fan on this podcast.
Nah, man, let's have it. Let's just do it.
I think it flows better with 3 anyway. So look, you can just stay off.
I object.
You can go. You can go to another barbecue, mate.
I morally object.
It's good. It'll be good content, man.
I morally and financially object.
Financially,
not sure how, but yeah, I'll take away my funding.
I mean, you're not paying me for Zoom.
For RSS. That's it. I'm going on strike.
Yeah, just
who isn't going on strike?
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Couple of mentions.
I financially and morally object to a Red Bull fan.
She's still coming on.
Yeah.
I'll go on mute. I'll mute.
Roger that. Okay. That's sorted then. Just a couple of small things that I've noticed here.
He's chatting away. I did mute him when he said he was going on mute.
Yeah, I could see. That's why I just thought I'm gonna start talking now and just let whatever's going on down there solve itself.
I pressed the button that says ask to unmute as well, and he's not doing it.
Fernando Alonso and Team Alpine, the fastest pit stop for the second time in 3 races this weekend. With Alex Albon and the Williams being the fastest one in Canada, by the way. I thought that was a bloody job well done to Williams last weekend that we missed. And this weekend, Lewis Hamilton got the fastest lap on the final lap, not for the first time in Great Britain that he's done that as well. And that is the first time it's been a car that isn't a Ferrari or a Red Bull with the fastest lap award and the fastest lap point going his way.
Well, this season, that's the first time.
Yeah, first time. It hasn't been. So first 3 races with Charles Leclerc, fastest lap. Then it was Max,
that's
Perez.
big progress.
Oh, my apologies.
That's wild.
My apologies. Lando Norris got the fastest lap in Monaco, didn't he?
I wouldn't have remembered it now, but you wouldn't lie to me.
I'm pretty sure Lando Norris got the fastest lap in Monaco. But yeah, Lewis with the fastest lap as well. So that's all very fun. But I mean, yeah, that's Britain. What a race, what a year. A brilliant grid walk by Brundle, by the way. I watched it back on YouTube.
You watched it. We were watching the Channel 4 coverage. So we saw a car crash of one by Coulthard and Webber, didn't we?
I don't know if we should use the phrase car crash.
Bro, you're not wrong. We might steer away from that one.
Yeah. Oh.
I wasn't as jazzed. Steer away. Steer away.
You just don't get this. Oh God, mute him again. But yeah, it's a very good. Ted's notebook was very good as well. Everyone, you could tell how much we love Ted, the Brits. Everyone's chanting for him. Someone got him to sign a picture of a goat.
There was a lot of people getting people to. There was a bloke that got a lot of drivers to sign a quiche. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that.
Danny Rick was relatively confused when he was asking everyone to sign a quiche.
I think that's
a box. A quiche in a box was like, "Can you sign this?"
something we noticed, wasn't it, was that we saw a lot of people wearing Formula One merch.
Luke, mate, I'm not gonna lie. There was so many people that had a shirt that said F1 on it,
or a hat.
Not like a team, a shirt, a hat, a jumper, a hoodie. And I kept saying, imagine going to a Premier League game wearing a Premier League t-shirt.
You just wouldn't do it, would you?
I feel sick.
Yeah, we
Just said F1 on it.
So
It is that person, right, where it's like, oh fuck, I should probably make a bit of an effort. But I
I'm
don't
going
know.
to a concert with a t-shirt that says music on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Sorry to anyone that does own the F1 hoodie. I'm sorry. I'm a
just
dick.
go to the concert. I like guitars.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, we get it. Why don't you at least pick a guitar, get a Les Paul on there or
Oh,
something?
no, don't get a Les Paul. Les Paul's a shit. Anyway, moving on.
I'd move on.
Moving
It's the
on.
driver, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, are we not predicting Austria then?
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah,
It'd be silly if I didn't predict a double max, to be fair.
Should we just all double max?
it
right?
is going to be double max.
Guess
Double
the
max
driver.
all across the board.
Yeah,
Guess the driver.
right, that's
Luke,
sweet.
let's go.
Right. Okay. So first one.
No shot,
Mate, we've not thought about that at all, but
It's
I
not
have
Phil
no
Hill.
doubt. Oh, fair.
It's not Phil Hill. So obviously, to anyone know how we do it is pick whoever's turn it is, we'll pick a driver. It's post 2010, right? They have to be
Have raced post 2010.
have raced post 2010. I'll give you three random facts about them.
Yeah, 3 or 4, whatever tickles your pickle. If you want to break
All
them
right.
up into
So, and then you guys have got to get it right. If you don't, then you owe me money. Cool.
need to check that contract.
So,
To be fair,
First-
you owe me money, so I'm not having that.
oh well, not anymore. Not if you're gonna have Red Bull fans on the show. Anyway, moving on. Right. So, fact number 1: this driver was born on the 27th of August, 1976.
76, you say?
It's not Phil Hill.
That would make them 46 at the minute, I reckon. Nope, 45 at the minute.
You want me to keep going?
No. We've got to at least guess one, haven't we? Do you know what I mean?
Fuck it, Schumacher, Michael.
No.
Don't know how old he is. That could have been wild.
Yeah, I'm struggling with the ages a little bit, so I'm going to just throw in a Giancarlo Fisichella.
No.
Okay.
So we're on
Was
to
he,
the
was
next
he
one.
close? Was he close with Fisichella?
No. So on to the next one. He competed. He made his debut in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
Good start.
Right. That's okay.
That's it.
When did he make his debut in Formula One?
In 2002.
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
But he was his I guess most active points was 2014 to 2016, where he did drive for Red Bull.
Do you want to do it or?
I'm so excited.
Have you got it?
What if I'm wrong though?
Well,
I'm quite
It's
excited
not
about it.
Phil Hill.
No, we know it's not Phil Hill, but I'm pretty sure it's.
I mean, you can't really get it wrong at this point. I've narrowed it down a lot.
No, I'm going to get it wrong and we get embarrassed now. Is it Mark Webber?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
I
I'd be
was-
so embarrassed if it wasn't Mark Webber.
I think you've got his active years wrong though.
I have got his active years wrong.
Yeah.
I was struggling to put it together, but basically, yeah, I definitely got that bit wrong. But hey, it is what it is. You got it anyway.
Good job, everyone. Well done. And
I mean,
we don't.
his
owe
career
Luke
did end
anyone.
in 2016. I was really no. Do you know what it was? I was trying to go with Brendan Hartley, and I changed halfway through.
Oh, okay, that's a tricky one to pull out of the bag. To be fair, I thought when you said 2002, I thought I was going to say Mark Webber, and then I backed out of it when you said his main years were 14 to 16.
Yeah, but then when he said Red Bull and 46 years old, I was like, well, even if I've got some facts wrong,
yeah.
Which I mean, is not like me.
Joe and his Mark Webber knowledge, it's
well, he thought Mark Webber was from Europe.
Yeah,
it's shaky. I've mixed him up with everyone on the grid. I don't even really know who the bloke is.
We've got a British driver. He drives for Mercedes. He's won 7 world championships. Is it Mark Webber?
It could be.
Well, yeah, Joe added to his Mark Webber knowledge last week on the unposted pod because he asked when he won his world championship. So
I mean, that was unposted. You didn't have to do that.
So he's now a British world champion as opposed to a Australian non-world champion.
Career points 1,047.5. He should have had at least one. I won't lie.
Yeah, he's a legend. He was great in commentary though. I know he obviously no Crofty and Brundle, but he did great on commentary. He made it very entertaining.
The years active, by the way, was the FIA World Endurance Championship, 2014 to 16.
That makes sense.
So he did stop Formula One in 2013.
That makes sense. Well, that serves me right for putting it together last minute. But,
yeah, it's all good. It is all good.
But I think that's it, isn't it? We covered everything in the race. Predictions.
Yeah, we got our predictions in double max.
I mean, it's boring, but let's face it, it's not going to be anything.
Let's just
actually throwing it in there. My wild card is.
I was about to say, sign off with the wild card, everyone. Sign off.
I think Hamilton will get another podium.
A third wild card, a third podium in a row for Hamilton for Luke. Mick Points has lost a little bit of its wild cardness now.
Yeah, it's not that wild. I mean, it is still a bit wild.
No, you know what time it is? Latifi points,
mate. Yeah, fuck it. Why not? Go on. Why not?
Latifi points.
Oh wait, no. Sorry. There was a Canadian catastrophe of the week that we didn't discuss.
Oh, Canadian catastrophe of the week. Lance Stroll binned it in Friday, pulled out a red flag, then qualified 20th on Saturday. And then, it's just bad.
But at least the bit stands.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Latifi finished above Ricciardo
week.
and Stroll finished 11th. So, like, blimey. But at least there was one and they didn't mug us off about it. But my wild card is, and I reckon it's pretty wild at this point. Oh, yeah, I'm going to firm it. Alonso podium. I'm liking the Alpine. I think it's really got the biggest potential to like break into that group at the moment. So, yeah, why not? And I'm just going to go for the Latifi points, which is the biggest wild card of the season so far, for sure. Now, you may wonder why I'm standing up. Our video viewers will.
Our video viewers will. And that's because I need to go to the toilet so badly that I'm going to say thank you very much for watching, everyone. See you all.
Carl, we haven't discussed other bits.
Oh, my God.
I'm kidding. I'm joking.
See you next week.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.